Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to His confounder, Charles Divine Grace, the Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. We welcome you to today's SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM class. We continue our reading of the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM from the second canto, 5th chapter. The text to be discussed today is text number 8. And our reverse speaker is His Grace, Ganeshakshu Prabhu, who is one of our God brothers. Ganeshakshu Prabhu, are you there? Ganeshakshu Prabhu. His Grace, Ganeshakshu Prabhu, can you hear me? Okay, while we wait for Ganeshakshu Prabhu, we'll just please Prabhupada Jai Radhamada.
Prabhu, please just give me some 2 minutes. I'm putting tilak. Haribo.
Okay.
All glories to God. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So you're welcome once again to SRIMAD Bhagavatam, daily discourse on the Hare Krishna Africa platform. We thank you for joining us today in this afternoon's discussions. Our speaker today is His Grace, JNANA Prabhu. JNANA Prabhu is one of our Guru brothers who's based in Ghana, and we're happy to have him. In a moment, we'll put the verse on the screen and then he will start.
Hare Krishna. Haribo.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, you're welcome, JNANA Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So, you're welcome. So, if you're ready, we'll put this verse on the screen.
Just give me a minute. I want to share the link because it seems there are only a few people here. So, I want to share the link to my platform.
Okay.
So just, yeah. 3, 4, 5. It's very unfortunate, but I went out for a meeting. I just got home like 5 minutes ago. I returned from Mayaku yesterday, and I have to go to the office and some few things. I'm so sorry, but
it's okay. You're welcome. We're happy to have you here.
Hare Krishna. So I'm sharing on some few platforms so that we can have some new people to come over to listen to what we want to discuss today.
Yes.
So just a second. Oh, Hare Krishna. Let me see. Me. Okay. Transformations, they transform ourselves and transform people. Mobility, I'm going to share a link into my platforms. So there's some discussion here where I share a platform. I guess 100 members spend a bit. Haribo, but I think I'm done now. Not fully, but I can start.
Okay, Prabhuji. So we'll put the verse on the screen and you can start. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, let me quickly go to
yeah, you
okay.
Take over now.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisance. August to Prabhu, August to Guru Dev, August to all of you. So I am very fortunate and very privileged to have this platform today to have a discussion on the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. So we would like to read the text in Sanskrit, and then we go to the translation, and then the purport. And after the purport, we will try to share our own views on what we will read in the purport. So I'll read the text and the translation alone. So please pay attention. Etan me prichata sarvam sarvajya sakaleswara vijanihi yatayabadam aham budwe musa sitaha. Translation is, my dear father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student. I will take it again. My dear father, you know everything, and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me, so that I may be able to understand it as your student. So Srila Prabhupada's purport.
Your house smells good.
It's a very, very short purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the enquiries made by Narada Muni are very important for everyone concerned. And as such, Narada requested Brahmaji to deem them suitable so that all others who may come in the line of disciplined succession of the Brahma Sampradaya may also know them properly without any difficulty. Hare Krishna. Oma Gyana Timirandesya Jana Jana Salakaya Chakshu Omlitam Dina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhotari Shri Mate Kabichandra Swamin Itinamini. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhotari Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurabani Pracharini Narabasisa Sunyabadi Vakshati Adisatarini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Vasadi, Dora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Itanmi Prichata Sarvam, Sarvajya Sakaleshwara, Vijanihi Yatevedam, Aham Budje Masasitaha. My dear Father, you know everything and you are the controller of all. Therefore, may all that I have inquired from you be kindly instructed to me so that I may be able to understand it as your student. Hare Krishna. So we are welcome to today's discussion, which is bordered on the fact that a very great sage called Narada Muni wanted to know almost everything within the universe from his own father, who is actually the creator of this our universe, Lord Brahma. So there are many questions in the previous text from verse 1 all the way to the verse 7. Narada Muni specified a lot of difficulties. There are many things he feels that he needs explanation. So he specified all those things in the previous verses. And now he's saying, my dear Father, please, you should not see me as your son, but you must see me as your student to explain to me all the questions I've inquired about. So for instance, if you read the verse 6, it says, whatever we can understand by the nomenclature, characteristics, and features of a particular thing, superior, inferior, or equal, eternal or temporal, is not created from any source other than that of your lordship. So in previous verses, Narada Muni, who is a very great personality, he is telling his father, Lord Brahma, that to you, inferior things, superior things, eternal things, everything, you seem to know everything. So please, you must encourage me by telling me all the questions that I have asked. In fact, when I was reading the purport, something that came to mind is a very famous verse in the SRIMAD Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse number 34, which says, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasina sevaya opadishante te gyanam gyanata, which means that one should try as much as possible to approach a spiritual master, and then we have to inquire from them submissively and render service unto them. And when these masters are so much pleased with us, they will help us to understand some of the things. So Narada Muni, even though he is a son of Brahma, he is not seeing himself as a son, but he's seeing himself as a student of Brahma. Because some of the question was asking about how the whole world was created. How is a world that has been created? How is it maintained? And at the end of the day, how is the world going to be destroyed? So these are very, very pertinent questions that any intelligent person must ask. Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where do I go from here? These are questions that we said that intelligent people, sane human beings, must inquire into. Where was I before here? And where will I go from here? Human beings are advised to make these inquiries because, in fact, from the office, I went to see an old friend who lost the mom. The mom is 85 years, and they'll be doing the 1 week celebration this weekend. And I won't be able to go, so I have to pass through to see how he's doing. So he was a little bit disturbed because even though the mother is very old, but losing your mother, the separation, is an old woman. But he said, that day when I heard the news, I don't know whether I was going to die. I was so disturbed. I was so concerned. So we were just talking about the mom. And according to him, is that the mom did not suffer. Just recently, they had birthday for one of the children. And what happened was that The mother was there, she was very active, and all these wives have been very active. And even that very day that she passed on, she ate her food. They were talking, she was watching television. So, but around 11 p.m., she said, it seems that she was not feeling so good. And the daughter said, I wanted to call my brother. I said, no, don't call them. I mean, I'll be fine. So later in the night, she felt that she was not so good, and they had to carry her to the hospital. She was even walking because said from their house to the hospital is not too far. But on the way, she said she was too weak, so they had to carry her and all that. And within 1 hour, the woman was gone. So for us as human beings, we must learn, or we must ask where we came from.
Really, really good.
Okay,
He was
where
taking
we came
his shower.
But I think some mics are on and the background noise is kind of troubling. Okay, so we must inquire of our existence. We must. It is so important. It is very, very important. I've been telling people that, you know, the entry point to this material world is through birth. And then the exit point is through death. These two subjects are so much important that needs to be discussed daily, especially the exit point, because it is so sure that all of us must live one day. All of us must live one day, no matter what you think you are, no matter how powerful you think you are, no matter how rich you think you are, how strong, how beautiful or handsome you are, you must live one day. So before the time is due, we must inquire into the next life. Because here's the case that we've seen so many people leaving us. Our grandparents are gone. Some of our classmates are gone. Some friends are gone. People that were related to they are all gone. So I think that it is very logical for us to say that, okay, one day we also leave. So before you leave, you must understand where you go to. So here in this verse, Narada Muni is inquiring from his own father, Lord Brahma, but in this case, not as a son, but as a student. He's inquiring from him how this material world came about. He's asking him, my dear father, are you the one that created the whole material universe with your own power, with your own everything? Or is it somebody who engineered all this arrangement from the beginning? Please, I need to know, tell me. And after the creation, are you the one who is maintaining everything you have created? Is the maintenance of this material universe done by you, my dear master or my dear teacher? Even though I'm your son, please tell me. Will this world live forever? Will this material universe, will it persist forever? Tell me. If it is not going to live forever, please, who is going to cause the destruction of this material universe? So Narada Muni is asking all these basic questions. And if today is the first time you're hearing the name Narada Muni is a very powerful sage. He has the power to travel everywhere. He goes everywhere. So if somebody who has been given this kind of power and ability is so inquiring into some things, then who are we to think that we know everything, so we wouldn't need anybody to be our guide? Narada Muni, a great sage, who is not limited to any environment. He can travel at will, at the speed of light or the mind. Narada Muni knows past, present, and future, but still he is inquiring into many other things from his teacher, his master, who happens to be his father. So the point is, if Narada Muni of all beings still feels or thinks that there are some things he might not know, then who are we to think that we know everything? Because I've been telling people all the time that, see, no matter how smart you think you are, somebody knows something that you don't know. No matter how beautiful you think you are, somebody somewhere might be beautiful than you. No matter how strong you think you are, at a point in time, somewhere, somebody might be stronger than you. So it is said that all of us, we are something, but not everybody, none of us can claim to be everything. You can be something somewhere. You might be strong here, you might be handsome, beautiful here, you might be rich here, you might be this, that here, but you cannot claim to be everything at the same time. It is not possible. So we must inquire into life. We must inquire into life. Why are we here? Where do we come from? What is the main reason why we find ourselves on this earth, on this planet? And then where do we go from here? These kind of inquiries are so important. So in Krishna consciousness, it is said that we are not this body. We are a spirit soul, part and parcel of God. We are not this body. We are spirit souls, part and parcel of God. But unfortunately, now, most of us thinks and feels that we are this body. So how do we understand this statement that we are not this body, but a spirit soul, part and parcel of God? It is up to us to inquire into some of these things. It is very important that you have to inquire into some of these things. Yesterday, I was having discussion with somebody, and we were talking about general life issues. So this person was asking me that, in fact, at times he doesn't understand why bad things happen to good people. This person, he was so disturbed that I don't get it. At times, people are so good, but they go through difficulties all the time. And at times also, you see very bad people, and all that they experience in life is just goodness, happiness. So this person was so disturbed. So he was asking me, is there any explanation to these things? So after we spoke at length, he said, this is your level of understanding. If everybody will understand things this way, then this world will be a beautiful place. Because I was telling him that, see, do you believe in God? And he was like, yes, I believe in God. I said, do you believe God is all powerful? I said, yes, true. God is all powerful. Do you believe that God is all merciful? He said, yes, God is all merciful. So I said, if God is all powerful, God is all knowing, and God is all merciful, so it means that for somebody being a good person and be going through difficulties, it means that God knows, because God is all knowing. So if God knows that this person is like a good, wonderful person, and the person might be going through difficulty and he knows, is it possible that God can do something about that situation? Yes, the answer is God is all powerful, because there's nothing he cannot do. So if God is all powerful, why is he not intervening in the situation of this person who is so good, very good, but going through difficulties? God knows, and God is all powerful that he's able to do something about it. Or is it that God is not merciful enough to see the difficulty the person is going through? He said that God is all merciful as well. So he knows everything. He's all powerful to change every situation, and he's all merciful. So why will God allow people who are so good to go through situations which are very unfavorable? Because with all these three angles, it tells us that God is able to change every situation at will. So why is God changing it? So I was telling this person that for us, we see people going through difficulties, and we just look at only this lifetime, and we think, okay, this person happens to be a very good person, a very good person. Why is the person going through pain? But if we have the, please, so Edmond, Patrick, can you mute your device? Edmond, can you mute your device? Yeah, thank you. Edmond, mute it. Thank you. So if we really want to understand life, then we should go before this life, go behind the previous life of this very person who happens to be a very good person, but going through pain. If you're able to go into the previous life, then probably you might understand that even though this person is like a wonderful person, he's so good now, but he has some kind of bad seed that he sowed in the previous life. And this is the time this person must go through those difficulties. Likewise, people are so bad, to our own understanding, people will consider to be bad, but going through beautiful situations that we don't understand. They might be bad this lifetime, but who knows, maybe they sowed the seed of goodness from their previous life. So this is the best time for them to enjoy. So what I'm trying to say here is that making inquiries into life is part of the human existence, especially to the civilized human being, that we must always and always inquire the way Narada Muni in this very text is inquiring into life, is asking many things.
Jana Chakshu Prabhu, please, you may have to unmute. Please.
Okay, sorry. So
Okay.
I was speaking into the air.
No, it was just a brief moment.
Okay. So the whole point is we must ask questions the same way Narada Muni was asking questions. So my dear father, did you create this world solely by yourself? The element you used to create the world, is it your own creation? And after the creation, who is maintaining this universe that you have created? Is it going to live forever? Is it a permanent environment? Or is it going to expire one day? And if it's going to expire or be destroyed one day, how is it going to be done? Who is going to do that? So Narada Muni is asking all these questions. And I think that we should all put ourselves in the position of Narada Muni and begin to inquire about our own life, especially about birth, about old age, disease, and death. These four main things all of us must inquire into. Because the scripture says that the four main problems of this material existence is birth, old age, disease, and death. There are many, many problems in this world, but trust me, most of the problems are relative. They are relative problems. You might be poor, somebody might not be poor. You might be beautiful, and somebody might be ugly. There are some problems, these are relative problems. But if you're talking about absolute problems, this is birth, old age, disease, and death, which means that all of us, all the human beings in this world, all of us must pass through all these four situations. All of us took our birth from our mother's womb. We took birth, and some of us, we think that birth is very easy. It is not very easy. Not the mother who is pregnant, but the baby in the womb. Baby goes through so much problem in the womb. So being given birth to is not an easy thing. It's the most painful thing. Can you just imagine that a small stomach like that, and a baby has to be like this, in this position for about 9 months. And according to science, this baby must be in some mucus, some water, some fluid in the womb of the mother. And there are so many worms there. There are many, many other bacteria in there. Whatever the mother eats outside will affect the baby in the womb. At times when women are pregnant, they crave for some hot thing, pepper. They will eat the pepper and the baby in the womb will feel it. At times they want to eat something very bitter because that's what they are craving for. The baby in the womb will have to feel it. So the whole point is that the baby in the womb is not an easy thing, it's a big problem. One of the problems of material existence is birth. And after the 9 months, this baby will be forced through a very small, narrow road. With this, our head, some of the kids have a very big head. You'll be forced out through a very narrow road like that. And the kind of pain you go through. So as soon as you come out, you have to cry. Yes, the pain you go through before, from the womb, before you get out of that womb, the pain you go through, the baby comes out and baby has to cry. And as soon as you take your bed, everybody's happy and they'll be pampering you. They'll be calling you beautiful names. They will carry you here and there. Just after some few months, everybody will neglect you and you'll be on your own. You start getting sick here and there. They have jaundice, you have this pain, you have that pain, you have that pain. You have to be going through all that. And unfortunately, if you get to old age, that's where the main problem comes. At old age, your normal system is no more normal. You cannot even eat what you crave for, what you think like you want to eat. You can't eat it because there are so many food your body cannot even digest. People become old, you see wrinkles in their faces. Now, because of plastic surgery, people want to go and then change their face and do all that. But can you change your bones? Can anybody do plastic surgery to go and change the bones? All your joints will be very weak. No matter how tall you are, it gets to a point you begin to dwindle. You become very short. I don't know if you have ever seen President Kufuor recently. President Kufuor, if you have ever seen him recently, you will see that as you are growing, you begin to dwindle. Short man. Okay? Now he can't even walk. He sits in a hill wherever he goes. Because all your joints will not function properly. The bones will not be functioning properly. There are many foods you can't eat because you can't even digest them. So at the old age, all the sickness in this world, diabetes, BP, kidney issue, liver issue, all the prostrate, all the nonsense sickness that you don't want to even hear the name, they will start visiting you when you are at that point. And then finally, you have to leave. So as human beings, we should try as much as possible to inquire about these things because these are the main problems of the world. It is not the money we are looking for. It is not a job you are looking for. It is not a wife or the husband you are looking for. These are not problems. Real problems that we need to sit down to address is birth, old age, disease, and death. This problem, everybody is going through it, and you cannot change it. You know why? Because it is not any human being who is, initiating all this. These are the laws of nature that all of us must pass through it. Probably at times you don't even remember that you are growing. Take a picture you took, like say 15, 16 years ago. Look at your face and you know that you are going. Actually, you are very close to your grave. You will be there very soon. I remember when I was young, I used to have so much hair. I remember those on my legs. So just recently, it just dawned on me. I just used my, I remember I used to have so much hair on my legs. What are they? I was like, everything is gone. I said, how is that possible? Hairs on your leg, everything is gone. You used to have beautiful hair. Now gradually, everything is going. You begin to develop gray hair, white hair. Some of us don't even like it, but whatever you taste, it will come. No matter the kind of food you eat, the kind of cream you use, whatever, the white hair will come. It gets to a point, your teeth become very weak. There are many things you can't eat. Those of you that eat meat that you break bones, crowd, it gets to a point, even sugar cane, you cannot chew it. Ordinary apple, if you try it now, before you realize your teeth will be the apple. So gradually, your body is deteriorating to a point that you should know that you're getting close to your grave. So why are you not inquiring about where you go from here? So intelligent people, they inquire into where they came from, why are they here, and where will they go from here? These are questions that all of us must be asking, because whether you believe it or not, you took your bet, you've been getting sick. If you don't die early, you're gonna grow old, and then finally, death will come. So an intelligent person must be inquiring into some of these things. So in Krishna consciousness, we know very well that one day we have to die and leave. So we are very careful, very, very careful that whatever caused our coming to this world is not so much of importance to us. But where we go from here is so much important. Said that your beginning never matters, but your end is the most important. So wherever you came from before you came to this world, it is not important anymore, because whatever it is you are here, you should be thinking of where to go. So what do we do with in Krishna consciousness? It is said that anyone who doesn't want to come back to this material world to go through birth, old age, disease, and death, there are a few things that we call principles of freedom. Principles of freedom. That anybody who wants to become free in the next life, that person must follow these principles, because these principles will give you freedom. So we say principles of freedom. The first principle is you might be so merciful, you have to be very merciful. Try as much as possible to exercise mercy in your life. that whatever you do, you must be merciful. Because if you are able to become very merciful, that will help you to achieve that freedom that you are aspiring for in the future. So one will ask me, how do I become very merciful? There are a lot of things that if you want to be merciful, you have to really pay attention. First one is, you must not cause pain to other beings. Try as much as possible not to become the source of suffering to other beings. Don't allow yourself to be used as an instrument to punish anybody. Make sure that you will wish everybody well. And for you to do this, there are many things you have to do. But one of the things that you need to focus on is you must abstain from killing living beings. You must abstain from killing people. And not just human beings, even the animals. And even the trees, you must be very circumspect when it comes to you killing anything. So in Krishna consciousness, we are advised to abstain from meat, fish, or egg. Because these things, you can never get them to eat if you don't kill them. And also in Krishna consciousness, we are allowed or we are advised to offer all that we eat to God before we eat them. In Krishna consciousness, whatever a devotee gets, that thing must be offered to God first before eating or before using it. So if when a devotee buys a car, he first have to offer it to God. When a devotee buys a new dress, he has to offer it to God. A devotee gets into a new business, he has to offer it to God. So for devotees, everything they must offer it to God before they enjoy or partake in it. So similarly, your food must not be eaten if that food is not offered to God. And because all our food must be offered to God, we must ask, are there any requests by God, the kind of food he wants to eat? Or that he's going to accept? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us that he will only accept plant-based food, fruits, apple, nuts, and all that roots, all those things. That's what God accepts. So devotees don't prepare anything and offer to God. They prepare plant-based food that we call vegetarian food, offer it to God before they will also partake it. And because God is the most supreme, powerful personality, as soon as our foods are offered to him, those foods are no more food, but we call them prasadam. Prasadam means the mercy of God. So you eat that food, it assists you to understand spiritual things. So yes, one of the principles of freedom is no meat, no fish, no egg, because you must possess mercy. And for you to be able to exhibit mercy in your life, you must try as much as possible not to become the source of suffering to other living beings. And if you want to eat meat, don't forget, you have to kill the animals before you eat them. By killing them, you are causing them pain. You are causing them some problems. So if you want to exercise mercy, you must abstain from killing. Then secondly, one must be very truthful. You have to be very truthful. You have to speak truth all the time. And for you to be very truthful, you must try as much as possible to do many things in life to be able to maintain truthfulness in your life. And if you want to do that, the scriptures recommend that we must abstain from gambling. Because anybody who engages in gambling, it's so difficult for the person to be truthful. Gamblers can never be truthful. If you want to gamble, you must find ways and means, any crooked ways and means to win. So if you want to maintain truthfulness in our life, there are many things we have to do, but we must abstain from gambling. Okay? And then one must be very austere. We should have control of ourselves. We shouldn't allow our minds to dictate to us. We shouldn't allow our senses to dictate to us. We are the spirit being within this body, and we must control what we want to do. We don't allow our minds or our senses to direct or to control us. So for you to be able to have that control over yourself, for you to be able to have control or to become austere, you must not engage in anything that will influence your mind to the point of you not being able to control yourself. Something like intoxication. When you drink and get boost, you know, you can't even act properly. No matter how sensible and gentle you are, as soon as you get drunk, you can begin to misbehave. Because as soon as you get boost, self-control is not there. You can't control yourself. So one of the principles of freedom is self-control, austerity. And anything that will force you not to be able to have control over your own jurisdiction, that thing must not be accepted. Something like intoxication, drinking, smoking, taking hard drugs and all that, one must abstain from them. Then the last one is cleanliness. We must be very clean. We must be very clean. And there are many things that we need to do. We must be clean within and clean without. So we go out there, we take bath, we use perfume, we use cream. We want to look nice out there. But we must be clean within also. So there are many things that can make us unclean, but the scripture put so much emphasis on illicit sex activities, like sex without regulation. If you continue having sex without any restriction or any regulation, you get very dirty within and without. So in Krishna consciousness, sex life is agreed or allowed within married life. And even with your wife, it is said that one must try as much as possible to not see sex as a source of enjoyment or source of recreation. We should see sex as a source of procreation, something to help us to produce more. So we have to control our sex life. So no meat, fish, or egg, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. These four principles are termed principles of freedom. Because anybody who is able to follow this diligently, you'll be able to free yourself from the clutches of this material existence. So all these are do not. But there is one do that every devotee, as much as possible, does to facilitate himself or herself to achieve his own spiritual goals. And that is, we must constantly recite the holy names of God. Because God is the supreme pure. If we constantly and consistently associate with the names of God, we will be able to attract some of that purity. It is said that iron rod, even though it's a solid substance, when iron rod is kept in fire for a very long time, even though the iron rod is just an ordinary metal, the iron rod becomes a source of fire that it can burn on its own. So yes, we might be sinful people, but if we can constantly and consistently associate ourselves with God, because God is the supreme pure, we will eventually or ultimately absorb that kind of purity into ourselves. So how do we associate ourselves with God all the time? God is spirit. We are also spirit, but now we are with material understanding. So how do we associate with God? For us to be able to, invoke some of that purity into ourselves or into our life. In fact, in material science, the objects and the name of object are two things apart. For instance, if you are thirsty and you say water will never be there. Because of that, your thirst will never be quenched. Because the object water and the name water are two different things. But in spiritual science, the name of the object and the name of the object is identical. It's one. So if you call God's name, the name of God and the God as a person is one. So now we want to consistently or constantly associate with God so that we can get some of the purity. We must constantly call on his holy names. And because God is not different from his name, when we constantly and consistently recite the names of God, we are actually associating with God all the time. And gradually we will be able to imbibe into our own existence the purity of God. So in Krishna consciousness, we have so many prayers. But among all the prayers, there is one we've termed it as the summum bonum of all prayers. The supreme among all the prayers in this material universe. We call it Maha Mantra. Maha Mantra. In fact, the word mantra is now like a household name, everybody knows what is a mantra. In fact, the Sanskrit word mantra is 2 syllables. Say man and tra. Man means the mind. So in Sanskrit, when somebody say man, it means the mind. And tra means to deliver. So mantra means delivering the mind. Okay? So any prayer that is able to help you to deliver your mind is considered to be a mantra. So there are so many uncountable mantras. We have Shiva mantra, we have Ganesh mantra, we have Garuda mantra, we have Durga mantra, so many mantras. But this mantra is not just a mantra, but Maha mantra. In Sanskrit, the word Maha means great or very great. So Maha mantra means great way of delivering your mind. So this is a very powerful prayer that every devotee, if you have ever been to any of our temples, you see devotees will have some beats and they will be constantly be reciting on the beats. And this is a prayer, a very short one. Maybe if it's the first time listening to us, you can write this thing down or you can record this part so that you can be reciting. It's the most powerful prayer. This is how we recite it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these are just 3 words. 3 words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. So the Hare in Sanskrit means the power or the potency or all the capabilities of God is addressed as Hare. Then Krishna means, God has many names, so many names. But Krishna means God who attracts everybody, the all attractive one. And then the Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure, that God who reserves all happiness. So when you recite this wonderful prayer, this Maha mantra, the great way of delivering your mind, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All that you are saying is, oh, the power of God. Oh God, who attracts everything and everybody. My dear Lord, who reserves all happiness, please engage me in your service. So when one constantly and consistently recite this Maha mantra and follow all those 4 principles of freedom, one is guaranteed spiritual success. So this is the basis of Krishna consciousness. If you follow these principles and you recite these holy names all the time, you are a devotee, even if you have never ever been to any of our temples. So those of you that probably your situation might not permit you to go to an Hare Krishna temple, you can still be a devotee. Or some of you, probably your family might not even allow you because they don't understand. Some of you, your husbands might not even permit you. Some of you, maybe your wives might not even permit you. You can be a devotee in your house without even going to the Hare Krishna temple. If you have the chance and opportunity to visit the temple, that is the best. But maybe one reason or the other, you're unable to go to the temple, you can be a devotee by following those 4 principles of freedom. No meat, no fish, no egg. No gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And then you must constantly and consistently recite the holy names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you do this, you are a devotee. Then the next thing you can do, you have to start offering your food to God. You have to start offering your food to God. So what you can do is, if you can get new pots, because probably your old pots, you've used them to prepare meals with meat and egg and fish inside. If you have the means, get a new set of pots, maybe 2 or 3. And after preparing all your food, you must understand, when you are preparing food for God, you must be clean within and without. So before you go to your kitchen, you must take a shower. And during the cooking, you make sure you don't think about negativity. You must think of God. So you can even be playing some gospel music there. Or if you have the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you can be playing on your radio, on your phone or some device there. Think of God as you're cooking your food. And when you are done with the food, please, you don't have to taste the food, even when you were cooking, to see whether there's enough salt or enough pepper. Cooking is an art. You should learn gradually. You get to a point that you don't have to taste to see whether the salt is okay or the pepper is okay. It will be nice because it's an art. So after all this, what is happening? My Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, something happened. I was not seeing anything.
No, somebody else did that.
Okay. So you prepare the food. When the food is done, bring from the fire, keep it somewhere, and you can say this prayer. That, my dear Lord, you own everything that I use in preparation or preparing this food. The pepper, the tomatoes, everything is owned by you. If I use this without informing you, I become a thief. So, my dear Lord, I offer this to you, accept it as this is my humble offering, so that it helps me to become very conscious of you. Leave this food there for, say, 5 to 10 minutes. After, you can dish from this pot into your plate and start eating. Make sure you don't eat from this cooking pot. Reserve this pot as something that belongs to God. So the ladle and whatever you use for cooking, you don't put them into your mouth. If you do these things, you recite the Maha Mantra, and you follow this principle I just spoke of, the principle of freedom, you are a devotee, and that's the beginning of making a spiritual advancement. So after following this for some time, you can visit the temple, and after some time, you can even be given initiation and you'll be given a spiritual name where you become officially a Hare Krishna person. And in fact, those of you that have been following for a very long time, I don't preach that people should follow me because Krishna consciousness is not false. It is not false on anyone. If people want to become God conscious, they must do it willingly because love must not be forced. Anytime there's compulsion in something, you can't tell me that thing is originating from love. So in Krishna consciousness, we don't force people. We just tell you the truth. And if you feel it makes sense, why not? You can join us. I would like to end here and ask for questions, comments, and contributions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the discussion. I know there are many of your members here, and I'm sure because while you were speaking, there were many who were actually raising their hands up. They had questions. So now, dear brothers and sisters, if you have any question, you indicate that by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to speak. Hare Krishna. Anyone with any question?
Maybe the chat room, maybe there'll be some question in the chat room for now.
Yeah, let me see something. Yeah. All right, we have first person. Mr. Peter, please, you may unmute.
Hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. My name is Peter Kwakuyabwa. I'm speaking from Dubai. My question is that, from my infancy till now, eating fish, meat, and egg is part of my daily life. So, how am I going to go about it to say that I'm going to stop eating fish, meat, and egg? How am I going to go about it? Can you give me a happy hand concerning that? Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact. But no matter how long you've been taking poison, as soon as you notice that this that you've been taking is going to kill you slowly, you should try as much as possible to quit it. And scientifically, it's proven that meat is not good for our body. Okay? Scientifically, I mean, becoming a vegetarian is never a religious principle. Scientifically, it's proven that flesh, meat is not good for this our body. I don't know whether you've been going to the hospital or if you have any friend who is a doctor, they will tell you most of the terrible diseases in the world are caused by too much meat. As soon as somebody gets stroke, as soon as somebody gets maybe kidney-related problem or liver-related problem, or BP, or cancer, you go to the hospital and after many medication, whatever it is, they will tell you, you should be careful with your diet. And that diet, they'll begin to advise you if you can cut down your meat intake. So the whole point is that this our body was not created for the meat and the fish and the eggs. So it is not healthy for us. That's the first point. And then, like I told you earlier on, if you really want to go back to God, or you want to become God conscious, there are some few qualities you must possess. One of them is mercifulness. You must be merciful so that you will be qualified enough to ask for mercy from God. Every now and then we pray and say, God, please, we need mercy, we need grace. So for us to be able to be qualified to ask for this thing from God, we ourselves must be having mercy. You cannot tell me you possess mercy if you have the audacity to carry a knife, rush after a goat, drag him on the ground, step on the legs, the hind legs and the front legs, and then pull the throat like this and just slaughter it and tell me that you have mercy. No, you don't. So if you don't have mercy, how can you even qualify yourself to ask mercy from God? So spiritually speaking, if you feed on flesh, the kind of pain you cause to these beings is so much. And health-wise, when you take meat, fish, and egg, this thing doesn't help our health. So if you're unable to maintain your health, how will you be able to serve God? So my dear, it is not going to be very easy. Even those who have been drinking alcohol, they know the alcohol is killing them daily, but they find it very difficult to avoid it. But as soon as you have information like this and you're a very intelligent person, the next thing is, if the alcohol is not good for my body, how do I abstain from it? It's going to be difficult, but with the determination, you'll be able to do it. All of us, I mean, me, I was not born a vegetarian, and most of my senior devotees here were not born vegetarians. But we got to a point, we noticed that this thing is not good for us, spiritually, economically, and health-wise. It is not good, and we decided to go and leave it behind. So why not? You can do it if you want to. Those of us that are Africans, Ghanaians, we like fufu, we like banku and all that. Many a time we think that if you're a vegetarian, you don't eat fufu, banku. My favorite is banku, fufu, and yam and all that. A vegetarian. You can prepare beautiful soup without meat. That tastes better than the soup with meat. So if you can get all this, you have access to all these things. Why do you say it will be difficult? It's not difficult at all. Just that it is very difficult to break away from sin. It is so difficult to break away from sin. So yes, if you say you don't want to kill other beings anymore for food, it is not going to be very easy. But you must be determined that, yes, I don't want to cause harm to these living beings. Even though I enjoy eating this, I enjoy experiencing this. Henceforth, I don't want to be the source of suffering to these beings. So let me just be on myself and then find something that is minimal in causing pain. So my brother, it is possible if you want to do it. There's this, one of our members has created a platform on YouTube at Malcolm's Veg Kitchen. Malcolm's Veg Kitchen. What they do is they teach you how to prepare simple vegetarian food, soup, stew, and all those kind of things. So you can just go and follow that link, Malcolm's Veg Kitchen, so that if you want to become a vegetarian and probably you're finding it difficult to prepare your own food, within one day, you will learn how to prepare all these things and things become very easier for you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the question and the answer. It's interesting to know there is such a website where people could go for
Yes. Malcolm Veg Kitchen. Malcolm's Veg. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, Peter, it seems he has a follow-up question. Please, you may unmute. We cannot hear you.
If Peter is not answering, can I ask a question, please?
Fix your mic, we'll get back to you. Yes, please go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, Prabhu.
Edward.
My name is Edward Aglono, calling from Belfast, Northern Ireland in the UK. Is there evil in God, or is God evil? From your teaching, I follow you for a very long time. God is not merciful, because everything you do, that's what you get back. So if you are going through pain, it's something you've done that the pain is coming. So is God evil, or is there evil in God? My second question, what is it so good for human beings to grow old? Christians, we believe that we pray to God, I want to grow old. In the first world country, most of us, we are experiencing old age. We are not old because there's isolation, loneliness all the time. You are by yourself. Your kids, it's not like Africa. Your kids will be around with you. You can authorize them. You can be sending them. What is so good about growing old? At the minute I live in a world, I start feeling the characteristics of old age, and I'm not even 50. Daddy, I've got a lot of questions. What is so good about growing old? And one thing, and cryptocurrency is gambling. You've mentioned you don't need to gamble. From my point of view, I have asked a lot of questions with me, Brahamudi has asked. When you were young, before you come Krishna consciousness, a lot of questions you ask for you to be there. I have asked myself a lot of questions. God being God, I have got 95% of the answers from you. And I'm so happy with that. So confirm to me that cryptocurrency is not gambling. The last one, Daddy, apart from sugarcane and KU, that make your gum go strong.
Mr. Edward, please hold on, please.
The questions are just so many.
You've already asked 3 questions. We will have to help remind the speaker to try to answer your question.
So I can remember them. Now, don't mute yourself, because I might even forget of the question.
Yeah, so the first question is...
I'll take the third one first.
Okay.
I'll take the first one. Third one is about cryptocurrency. I don't know whether you really understand cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just digital money, okay? But the digital money, the source of the digital money is ordinary cash. Because for me, if you want to get, say, maybe 100, you have to have $1,000 coin of Bitcoin. You must have the dollar cash like this to go and buy the coin. That will worth that $1,000. So what you do is, in the normal life, you need an investment. You go to the bank, you go and give them, maybe you go and do fixed deposit, okay? And the fixed deposit, you wait after 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, and you go there and you get some interest, okay? So you are doing fixed deposit with your money. I don't think you consider this to be gambling. It's an investment, because when you deposit your money in the bank owners use that your money to do their own business. So the profit of that money, say they have about 2,000 Ghana cedis, after they will give maybe some 5% of that. So at the end of the 3 months, the 6 months, or the 1 year, you get something on top of your money. That is fixed deposit and it's investment. So cryptocurrency is the same thing, but in a digital form. So you go and buy a coin, whoever is managing that platform, they are also using that digital money to do their trading, to do investment. Okay, so the more the business goes, then the better you have the chance of you having some profit on your investment. Okay, so it's like you give your money, like all these banks, they give money to some debtors and it becomes a bad debt. They wouldn't get it again. So it doesn't mean that that is gambling. It's not gambling, it's investment. So cryptocurrency is digital form of fixed deposit or this bank guarantee, whatever it is that you do in the normal world. So cryptocurrency is different from gambling. For gambling, for instance, you go and stake some lotto. They tell you this evening by 5 p.m., we will call some numbers. If those numbers come, you have won. It is completely different from when I have a Binance account. And then when the world market goes up, I have dividends. When the world markets go down, then I lose my money. That is investment. That is not gambling. So devotees can do cryptocurrency, but you cannot go in for this super bet and all these football matches you have to predict. And guess by the end of the day, if it doesn't go your way, that is completely different from this. It might look similar, but it's completely different. Then your second question you asked, is God merciful? Yes, God is very merciful. He is. But our spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Teta Swami Maharaj, said that God has two different kinds of mercy. The first mercy that comes from come in front of us, and then the one that comes from behind us. So all the mercy that comes from God in front of us are considered to be favorable mercy. All the good things you are looking for in life. You want to be rich, you want to be beautiful, you want to be handsome, you want to have this, you want to have that. All those beautiful things that you want to have, when God gives you their mercy in front of you, and then there are some mercy from God that must seem to be unfavorable, but they're actually good for you. Something like some sickness. So our spiritual master, Bhakti Maharaj, said, seeing sickness as the mercy of God is not easy for any ordinary person. But when one is very advanced mentally, you will be able to see sickness as the mercy of God. So he gave a very wonderful teachings in one of his books. He said that when one is very sick, even though it's a seriously unfavorable situation, but you will not be full of ego. You cannot be full of pride when you are sick. When you depend on people to serve you, for instance, if you are crippled, you can't walk properly, or maybe you are blind, you will be out of ego because you have to depend on people fully for your own survival. So because you have to depend on people, you think that if you're some blind man and people come to you and you insult them, they'll come back to you again. Somebody who cannot walk and you are so arrogant, you are so puffed up, anybody that comes, you chastise them, insult them. You wouldn't do that because you depend on people. So even though sickness is bad, but when one is sick, that person becomes very humble in a sense. Knowing very well that you depend on people, you need people around you, you will throw away your false ego and become humble. When one is very sick, there are so many food you can eat. Many a times, we are so much engaged in doing things, we are so engrossed in the material world because of even what we eat. We eat anyhow, we eat everything. So eating, even though it's not bad, but eating actually causes us to become more, more in bondage in the material life. But when one is very sick, you can't even eat much. You are very, very regulated when it comes to eating. You minimize your food, you are very disciplined, you don't take oil, you don't take this. You are very selective when it comes to eating because you are sick. So even though the sickness is not good, it is making you become more regulated. We were talking about sex life. Too much sex life, it is not so good in spiritual life. When one is very sick, you think in that condition you have the strength to even go and have sex or to be having illicit sex. A sick person, can you go and drive to hotel to go and meet a woman there or to meet a man? You'll be in your room. So even though sickness is not very good, but sickness also can be a source of mercy from God, because when we find ourselves in that situation, we become better people in the sense of spiritual advancement. So yes, God is all merciful, but He's a very disciplined, merciful giver. Whatever you deserve, He will give it to you. That is it. See, many a times as parents, when our kids are not feeling well, we want them to be okay. So we have to force and administer medicine to them. The kids don't want to take the medicine because at times it's very bitter. Like for me, I don't want to take injection. I'm so much afraid of that. You go to the hospital, people are crying, but the parents have to hold them so the doctor can inject them. The injection is painful, but it is going to make you feel all right. So the mercy from God that makes us feel uncomfortable is a mercy that comes from behind. And don't forget, God is a very disciplined, merciful giver. Whatever you deserve is going to give it to you. For instance, you do all sort of nonsense, and the corresponding reactions are coming. You can't run away from it. God wants you to learn that you did A, B, C, D. That was so bad. Because of that, you have to go through A, B, C, D for you to learn going forward. So God will make sure that what you deserve will come to you. So when you see that, you don't call God that, oh, God is a wicked person. No. It's very merciful. It is what you deserve. Like classroom, somebody who is first, the person will be given a medal. Somebody who is last, probably you might be repeated in school. So if the headmaster is doing this, he's not being biased. He's just making sure that you get what you deserve. So God is fully merciful, even though he will make sure that all the good things that we deserve comes to us, and all the bad things that we deserve comes to us. That is actually the real mercifulness. It's not somebody who will just pamper you. Even if you do bad things, the person will still be pretending as if you are doing good. No, God will not pretend. You do good things, you'll be praised. If you do bad things, you'll be punished. This is the level of the mercifulness we are talking about. Bro, please, do you remember the first question? Bro, you are muted.
Yeah, he asked whether God is evil or there is evil in God.
Oh, so it's different from the mercifulness?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no evil in God. I mean, I used to use the example that God is like an electric plug on the wall. You put in a refrigerator and then you get chilled water. The same source you put in heater, the water will be heated for you. But if you mistakenly go and put your hand inside the hot socket now, you get electrocuted and die. So will you say that the electric plug on the wall is evil or is good? No. Whatever you plug in, you will have a corresponding reaction. So God is all good. God is all good. But whatever you plug in is what is going to be offered to you in a very beautiful way. So please, God, there's nothing like evil. See, when it comes to God, there's nothing like evil. Everything is good. But whatever you do, there will be a corresponding reaction. If you do good, you do for yourself. And if you do bad, you do for yourself. So whatever you consider to be bad is what is going to give you punishment and suffering. But to God, that is a lesson. It's a beautiful lesson. So in God, there's nothing like evil. What we call evil, God doesn't see any evil. To God, everything is pure, everything is good. Have you forgotten in the Bible said that after creation, God saw that all that he had done was good and perfect. So there's nothing like evil. What we see as evil, God don't see it like that. For instance, somebody is born blind. To us, limited human beings will see that as evil. How can a baby become a blind person? We will all lament and feel that it's wrong. But to God, it's a normal thing. Maybe this person in the past life was a very dangerous guy. And if guy is to have an eye, he's going to become more dangerous. So God will just have to limit the person, so that the person will not go and do whatever he was doing in the past life. So in that situation, because you don't know the person's past life, you might call that evil. But God and those that knows that this person is coming from so and so thing, they will see that it's a very beautiful thing God have to do to save a situation. Okay, I watched a video on Facebook. I got this PNC president candidate. Kofi man asked him something. He said there was a town, and there was this man who was a cripple and was very sick. So some godly men, these people approached the godly men and said, you should pray for me, I want to get well. And the godly people have to go to God and speak to God. God said, no, keep this person there. He should be in that condition. And this person will always be insisting, please, can you pray to God to heal me? And the prophet of God will go there and say, please, my dear Lord, this person is lamenting too much. Can you do something about it? So because God felt he wanted to prove a point, he said, okay, go and pray for him and he'll be well. So they went there, they prayed for this guy. He became so well. The next morning, about 50 people were killed in that village. After 3 days, another 100 people were killed. So after some time, just like, but who is causing all this mess? Every day, new people are dying. They noticed that it is this guy that was crippled before, that God healed him. He's the one who is going around killing people because He was so bitter that when he was sick, people were not attending to him. So he was just killing people. So later, when the prophet of God found out that it is this man who is causing all, he went back to God and dear Lord, this person healed, the person causing so much mess. What do you do? So God said, yes, I told you that it was good for him to be in that condition. So, okay, please, you have to bring him back to that condition again. So the whole point is, at times, we might see some things to be evil. But when it comes to God, there's nothing like evil. Everything is good. Everything is good in God. But we at the receiving end might consider it to be evil or good because of where we're coming from. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the answer. Stephen, you may unmute, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hello, Prabhu. How are you? I hope everything is well.
Yeah, it's good. I'm fine. It's been a long time.
Thank you. Yes. So this morning I was on my way to work and I was listening to one devotee. His name is Sampati Das. I think he's somewhere in India. So he made a point. He said every day has been divided into a lot of different parts, and every day and the kind of things that you have to do. So he mentioned that Lord Shiva has a day. I mean, during the day, Lord Shiva has a time that he rules. And during that time, if you have sexual intercourse with your wife or somebody, he can curse you and give you a demonic child. So he said what time it was, but I forgot the time. So if you know anything about that, please let me know. And also during the Brahma Muhurta hour. So let's say maybe it's like 30 minutes before the end of the Brahma Muhurta. And maybe I'm still laying down. But you once said that you have to wake up, brush your teeth, and shower before you talk to God or before you say your prayers. So if I don't have time to get up and do all those things before the prayers, can I just recite the Maha Mantra whilst I'm in bed, or I can just move from my room to go to somewhere where it's nice and clean in the house to do my prayers without taking a shower? A meditative prayer.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
Yes.
So your first question, yes, the whole day is divided into 8 sections. Okay. And there are things you need to do within that period. Some period you are not supposed to have sex. If you have sex, you will have a demonic child, no two ways about it. There's some period in the night and some period in the day. One day we will have that discussion because it's a lengthy subject matter. The whole 24 hours a day is divided into 8. And like you said about the Brahma Muhurta hour is one of the period. The best time to do spiritual things is Brahma Muhurta hour. So you wake up early in the morning, that's the best time. So after Brahma Muhurta hour, there's another demarcation like that, that they are all 8 within the whole 24 hours. Okay, so coming to your second question of you not waking up early in the morning and maybe 30 minutes to the end of Brahma Muhurta hour, you wake up, can you just start doing your prayers? See, reciting the Maha Mantra, there are no fast rules, you know, hard and fast rules. You can chant the Maha Mantra when you are in the toilet, when you are sleeping, when you are even meeting your wife or your husband. You can recite the Maha Mantra anytime. But when it comes to you taking the beat to chant, it is a different thing altogether. So early in the morning, when one sleeps, don't forget we have 9 gates leading to this our body, and all these 9 gates are considered to be dirty gates. Your 2 eyes, your 2 nostrils, your 2 ears, one mouth, 7, your genitals and your anus. All these gates are considered to be dirty. And when one sleeps, all these 9 gates opens. Okay? When we sleep in the night, all these 9 gates who are considered to be dirty gate opens during our sleep. That's what some people in the night, when they sleep, at times you see water will be coming from their mouth. And when you wake up in the morning, you see some marking there, you have to go and wash your face. At times, when people are sleeping and then they'll be snoring, you see flames will be coming from their nose. You wake up in the morning, you see the dirty from your eyes, you have to clean them. And even your ears. Some people sleep and they will be passing air anyhow, as if they don't know. In the afternoon, they will never do that. But in the night, it happens. Because when you're sleeping, your anus is open. And some people can, even though they are mature people, they can mistakenly urinate into your bed because when you are sleeping, all the 9 gates opens. So as soon as you sleep and wakes up, the whole body becomes contaminated. You must take a shower. So even if it's 5 minutes, you must go and take a shower. See, this is a scenario. God is a person, okay? So now you have an interview. You have to quickly rush to the office to go and have an interview. The interview is, say, 7, okay? You wake up by 6. You need about 40 minutes to get to where you are going. Will you say because you are late, you just wake up with your pajamas, everything, and go for the interview like that? Will you do that?
No.
Why wouldn't you do that? Because if you go in that condition, already you have failed the interview. So no matter how short the time is, you would like to take a shower and wear something nice. Maybe you can be rising, but you want to appear nice so that whoever is going to interview you might consider you just by your appearance. So see God as a person, like somebody you have an interview with. So no matter the time, you must still take a shower, because when you sleep in the night, many things happen to your body and the body becomes very contaminated. You must take a shower. There are many people, Christians, they wake up in the morning, they will not even brush their teeth. They will carry the Bible and put their armpit. Even the night, maybe they even have sex with their husband or their wife, and they go to church to go and they want to go and do morning devotion. You don't know what you're talking about. God needs cleanliness, and not just only within, but without as well. So you wake up in the morning, your body becomes contaminated. You must bath. You wake up in the morning. Do you like your own breath? You have to go and wash your mouth, because many things happen in the night. You become contaminated. This our body is a bag of nonsense. So when you wake up, you must take a shower before you pray. So what I do in the morning, maybe let me just tell you, can do that. You wake up in the morning, the first thing we do, Hare Krishna devotees, when you wake up in the morning, if you sleep with your wife in the same room, when you wake up in the morning, you offer respect to your partner. So you kneel down, you say, Bancha Karapata Rubiascha, Kripa Sindubia Evacha, Patita Nampa Venibio, Bachina Bebio, Namona Maha. You are offering your respect to your partner, even though the person is your wife, but the person is a devotee, so you must give the person the respect to give to a devotee. And then your wife must also pay obeisance by giving that respect back. So in the morning, you wake from the bed, you offer dandava, that's what we call it, to each other. So just after that, you kneel down on the bed and say a prayer. Thank God, Mendiola, thank you for raising me this morning. I'm very grateful for all that you did for me. This, you have the right to say without going to the bathroom. So just after this, you go to the washroom, you brush your teeth, you take a shower. If you're a devotee, you see this marking, we have some spots on this body, you have to do the marking. So maybe in the house you don't have, but you can have some oil or water, you can do the marking. It's a spiritual prayer you do on your body. Now you go and take your bead and recite a special prayer. So maybe if you're not a Hare Krishna person, you're a Muslim, you can go and do your prayer after all this. If you're a Christian, you go and then have your prayer. And I've been telling those that have been following me, in your room, create a small space where you think that you want to meet your God all the time. Even if you are living in one single room, you can do that. In a small portion in your room, you can say, this place is where I keep God. Anytime I want to have any discussion with God, I go to this corner to go and kneel down there and do my prayers. So please, you wake up late, whatever it is, you must take a shower before you do a normal sadhana, which is taking a bead. You want to recite a prayer, you want to talk to God, you must be clean before you do that. But it doesn't mean when you wake up on the bed, don't say a prayer because you are dirty. No, on the bed, you can thank God for, keeping you safe after that point, but you go to the washroom, be clean, and now start your normal spiritual practice. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right, thank you. So we go to Mr. Jacob. If you may unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Prabhu that is in the Bible, there was in the Bible that Peter was a fisherman, and even Jesus Christ helped him to fish. But so what? I need an explanation, because eating fish or meat is not really good. So if Jesus helped Peter, and also Peter is a fisherman, so what will be the explanation there? Thank you.
Were you the very person who asked that question in the chat room?
Pardon?
Were you the very person who asked this same question in the chat room?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
Please.
so okay.
Yeah.
So
okay,
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful question. Yeah, it's true. Peter was a fisherman. Okay. And if you read the Bible carefully, when Jesus was crucified, he resurrected and he go back to the Father. Peter and the disciples, they went back to their normal duties. You know that?
Yeah.
And Peter also went back to fish. So according to the Bible, Jesus Christ appeared to Peter and said, Peter, do you love these things more than me? He said, no, Master. Peter, do you love these things more than me? No. The third time he said no. So then take care of my flock. So Peter had to stop the fishing to go and do the work of God. So for the fact that Peter was a fisherman doesn't mean that God actually encouraged animal eating. And there's one thing we need to understand. Jesus Christ came to deliver us from our sinful ways, right? Before Jesus came, people were eating their own food. Those who were eating fish, eating meat, they were eating those foods. So if Christ has gathered about 5,000 people, he needs to preach to them. And he asked the disciples. No, the disciples approached Christ and said, Master, it is getting late. Why don't you allow these people to go to their cities to go and find something to eat? Because it's getting late. And Jesus said they should provide something for the multitude to eat. Then the disciples said, what we have is not even enough for we the 12. That what they were having there was not even enough for the 12 disciples. And Jesus said, no, they might find something for them to eat. Then somebody said, I have these loaves of bread, and somebody said, I have some fish. So Christ took them, he blessed them, and he gave it to them. So the whole point is that Christ has come to preach to them, to transform them to become godly people. So he just gave them the food they have been eating all their life. Christ did not introduce any fish eating or meat eating to the people. He gave them the food that they have been eating. And after they stood there and listened to him, most of them became disciples. They changed their ways. So yes, Peter was a fisherman. But when Christ came back after the crucifixion, all the disciples, they were dispersed, they were all afraid, they ran away. They went back to their normal duties, and Christ appeared there and told Peter to stop the fishing and go and become a preacher. So there are many, many quotations in the Bible that somehow or the other might seem as if that it is encouraging meat eating. But the final law, the final principle is one must not feed on flesh. That's the main principle. But it's like if you come to the Krishna consciousness or if you come to the Hindu tradition, even though we are not supposed to kill animals, we are not supposed to eat meat. There is still one book called the Kali Purana. It allows meat eating to a point. Because the God knows that no matter what we do, there will be some class of people that will always do something. So there's some principle they have to follow. You can kill animal only once in the night, in a month. And that should be only on the Amavasya, the dark moon. And when you are killing that animal for food, there's a prayer you recite into the ear of this animal. The prayer says that this life, I have this body, and you have the body of an animal. I have the right to eat your meat or your flesh. In my next life, I will also have this, your body. You will also have my body, and you have the right to kill me and eat. So after that prayer, now you can go and eat that animal. Okay? So, any intelligent person will think that, no, this is not right for me. Why will I
this is not good.
Take this agreement of me eating somebody's flesh for this animal to come and eat me? So, it is just there to help people to come to the highest platform. Like in the Bible,
thank you.
It is said, now let me give this point before I finish. In the Bible, if you read Leviticus chapter 11 and Deuteronomy chapter 14, where God was telling Moses the kind of flesh that people should eat and those that are considered to be abominable. After those segregation, this clean, this unclean, God said, he said, even the clean ones, you must not eat their blood or their fat. Okay? Because the soul of that animal lives in the blood. So how is it possible not to eat blood and how is it possible not to eat the fat? the fat of the animal
Impossible.
and the blood of the animal. It is impossible. So from the beginning, God is giving instruction. Don't eat so animal because this is unclean, but you can eat this. Okay, now you come to the point of becoming a little bit enlightened. You are not eating this, but you eat that. And even that, there are some rules and regulations. So if you're a deep thinker, you will understand that, okay, God don't want me to eat. You know, so if you go to Israel now, the Jews, they don't eat flesh meat. When they kill animals, they hang the meat out there for weeks, at times 2-3 weeks, for it to become dry, like fat is gone, blood is gone, before they will eat, because they are trying to follow that law in the Bible. But the truth of the matter is that God wants us to completely abstain from feeding on flesh. But he knows that we don't have the same intelligence. So first, he say, okay, this animal is clean, this is not clean. Those are very stupid, they don't care, they eat everything. Anything that moves, they will eat. But when you have a little bit of intelligence, you go, okay, this set of animals are unclean, I will not eat them. But this set is clean, I will eat them. But when our intelligence is more advanced, even the clean ones, I am not supposed to eat them because of A, B, C, D. If God tells you not to eat the blood and the fat of an animal, it's like going to somebody's house and then requesting to go and use the person's toilet, WC. And this person tells you, yes, you can use the WC, it's there. This is my guest washroom. You go in there and this person knock and say, please, on this toilet, please don't urinate on it. Don't urinate, I beg you, don't urinate on it. Maybe you might try not to urinate as you want to poo. But as you are there, you come and tell you, please don't fart. Huh? Don't fart on this, my WC. So the person has given you the chance to use the WC, but the attachment of the rules and regulation tells you don't use it. Because how do you poo without you farting or maybe urinating? So God tells you, you can eat the meat, but don't eat the fat and the blood. He's telling you directly that don't go there. But those who are not very intelligent will not see this. But very intelligent people will say, oh, what I thought I have to go and struggle so much just because I want to eat flesh. To the point that I should not eat the blood. When you slaughter an animal, according to science, the heart will stop pumping the blood. So the blood stop pumping, it will stay in the veins. So how will you eat flesh without blood? It is not possible. It is not. So if you want to follow the laws of God in the Bible, you become a vegetarian because God don't want us to eat blood. Anyway, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right, thank you. So I think Jacob was the last person. All right. So I think there was one or so questions in the chat room.
Okay.
It says, this is from Yao Iwa Jesse. Okay, it says, so my wife and I, my wife and I try as much as possible to be a giving couple. Sometimes we give our last to the needy. We return good to evil. We care for relations and non-relations. We wish good for all. Yet we are persecuted everywhere we find ourselves. Can you explain why we go through same difficult situations in life?
Okay. Yeah, Ofayao, this situation, it is not very easy. It's so troubling that you try as much as possible to be good, to be nice. You do everything within your power and people don't appreciate it. It is very painful. It is not sweet, it's not easy. But my question is, do you think God don't know that this is what you guys are going through? The answer is no, God knows because he's all-knowing. And if God knows that you're going through this, why is he not doing something about it? Is it that maybe he hates you and your wife or something? The answer is no, God cannot hate you. Then why are you going through that? In fact, it is not a pleasant thing for me to say, but in life, we will never get anything that we don't deserve. There is nobody in this world that will experience anything that person does not deserve. Over here, you can just imagine that many a times you will also experience some beautiful situations, some happiness you have not even worked for. At times, there are some good things that probably might have been coming to you that if you sit back and think about it, you wouldn't remember any good thing you did to deserve those good things that are happening to you. So if at times there are good things that happen to you when you have not even worked for them, then when you begin to experience some bad situations, you should understand that the same reason why you experience some good things when you have not worked for them, that same reason might be the cause of you going through some pain when you don't even remember you causing that. Like we say all the time, all of us, this is not our first life. We have ever existed before. That's the main reason why we have different faces. We appeared in different families. We have different opportunities, different level of intelligence. All these differences are there because this is not our first time coming to this material world. So whatever we're going through, you must understand that God knows it. God is aware. And if God is aware and is not doing anything about it, it means God knows that we deserve to go through this. It is up to us to be strong that yes, even though I'm going through A, B, C, D, I still want to remain a good person, knowing very well whatever I do today will also benefit me in the future. It is not very easy. Even godly people, people who are highly advanced spiritually, they still go through difficulties and they accept it to be the mercy of God. I have given this story before. There's this woman who was a widow. They had only one daughter, a beautiful girl, very intelligent. So this woman has been struggling so much to take care of this girl, thinking that if I'm able to help her to become educated, maybe have a PhD, whatever, I mean, she can take care of herself and then take care of the family. So this girl had other friends that normally picks her up when they are going to school together. Every day that was what's happening. After many years, the very day they were to go and write their final exams, this woman noticed that the daughter was very sick to the point that she was unable to go and write the exams. The woman was so disturbed. And all this while, she's been complaining that the family is full of witches and wizards and they don't love her and the kids. So when this thing happened to the daughter, when she was supposed to go and write her exams, and that very morning, she was so sick to the point that she couldn't even walk. The woman had no choice but to say, it is me fear before me because the witches and the wizards from my house, they don't want my daughter to become somebody in the future. That's why they are causing her this pain. Today of all days, that she's supposed to go and write exams and become somebody, me fear before will not permit. So when these friends came, their friend, who is very sick, couldn't follow them. So they left her. So on their way going, not knowing that there was a big truck that failed his brake and came down and killed all those, about 7 of them. So this woman was in the house and she heard the news that the friends of the daughter, all of them has been killed by some trailer. Now the woman kneeled down to my dear Lord, thank you very much for protecting my daughter. If not because my daughter was sick, she would have been part of those people that were just killed this morning. So see, in the morning, when she noticed the daughter was sick, she thought that that was caused by Satan or witches or wizards from the house. But later when she identified or noticed that God actually preserved her because there was going to be that accident, now she started giving God the thanks. So many a time, the difficult situation we go through, trust me, if we are able to come to realization that God knows what we're going through, and no matter what, we still want to continue to be good people, trust me, you will be a great person. Not today, not tomorrow. But even if you have to come back again to this life, you will benefit from the difficulty you're going through. You are doing good. People don't appreciate it. They still pay you back in a very bad way. If you are able to continue this act, I'm telling you, God will definitely bless you. Say, it is not very easy to do these things. Trust me, God knows that you are doing all these good things and they will pay you so bad. God knows. So if you don't get discouraged and you continue being a good person, God still knows, and the blessing comes to you and your wife. You might not know that even whatever is happening, God's blessings on you. But if you sit back and analyze your life, probably at your age, how many years you have, and compare that to other people. Do you go to hospital every week? Do you go to hospital every month? Do you have any difficulty like that? No. Yes, because the good things you do to people, God will reward you here and the next life. So don't allow anybody to discourage you from doing good things. Some people might appreciate you, some people might not. And there are people that you might be the cause of their living. They will turn back against you in a very bad manner. If you are able to control yourself and still be good, you become a magnanimous person, a great soul. In that condition, trust me, nature will always fight for you. People, this is science. It is science. When people are against you and you pray for them, when people hate you and you try in every way possible to serve them back, nature will always stand behind you. And it's not only about the goodies of life. At times, even good health alone is a blessing from nature. That you have not even gotten any government issue, any legal issue. There are people, they are in jail just because of some little mistake they committed. Maybe you might have done a bigger mistake, but you are still there. God is considering all the good things you are doing to people, so he will safeguard you when you need him the most. So my dear, whatever you are going through, trust me, God knows. And for the fact that you are still going through this and you are still living means, God knows you are able to withstand that. Don't embarrass God because he knows you, he trusts you that you'll be able to do it. That's why he allows it to come to you. Continue enduring. And if you endure in that difficulty, still being a good person, you will become a magnanimous person, and God will always and always be by your side, Mr. Yawawia. Thank you very much, sir.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the answer, Prabhu. There is one question in the chat room from Tony, Mr. Tony. He is saying that given the many good teachings Prabhu and his fellow colleagues have been sharing, I'm just wondering why it is so rare to find Hare Krishna movement teachings telecast on local televisions.
Okay.
So that's Tony's question.
Yeah, Tony, we have programs that we've been doing. Check online. There are many. Before, I remember very well when the traditional media house, the televisions and the newspaper and all that, it was very difficult for us because we would say some of the pastors and people of other religious groups, when they see that you have a very wonderful philosophy that people will be attached to, they find ways and means of, blocking you. I remember some time ago, we used to have some programs on radio stations, and then after some time, you go there and some pastor might have gone there to go and buy the airtime. So maybe you used to have the program from 2 to 4. Maybe it was free program. Somebody will go and buy that very time, big money. And the radio station, they're looking for money. So they can't do anything, but they have to sell the time. So you will never be called again. And if you call back to find out, they'll tell you we don't have the time anymore because somebody has bought the time. But now, because of social media, devotees are everywhere preaching everywhere. Go online and see. Go online, just type Hare Krishna. You see so many preaching everywhere. Yes, we have to really up our game by being on some radio stations and TV stations, but these places are very expensive. And now social media is even more effective than the traditional television and whatever it is. So devotees have channels where they've been preaching. Gora Gopal Prabhu is there. Many other wonderful devotees that are speaking here and there. So please, transformation, I have been speaking. I have so many videos on YouTube. You can be watching them, okay? So I think that, yes, we can really up our game by being everywhere because there are so many channels. But so we have social media everywhere. And if you go to outside Ghana, we have many, many channels where devotees owns them and there are teachings going on 24/7. So maybe later I will share some link with you. If you're in any of the groups, contact your executive, let it get to me. I'll get some links where you can be having like devotional stuff all the time. Some channels, so Hare Krishna channel, only things about Krishna and things about what we've been talking about so that you can have access to those information. But check your social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Devotees are everywhere. There are so many channels that belong to devotees, and I think you can benefit, even though we can still up our game by being around all the channels. But as it is now, you can still find devotees many places. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Well, thank you, Jan Prabhu. There is one question in the chat room also from Nana Equia. Nana Equia. Because you talked so much about meat, fish, egg, and the process of cooking and offering the food to God before partaking. So question is, with all that has been said today, can we really eat from outside? That's a question.
Okay, yeah, it is not very easy if you're a vegetarian, because you go out there and almost every restaurant you see meat and fish. It's difficult. But still, when you go out now, people are understanding vegetarianism because of the health aspect. So everywhere you go, you can still see vegetarian restaurants. That is not the best, because I mean, for devotees, we don't really eat from these restaurants and hotels unless it is very, very crucial. But you as a beginner, just try as much as possible. Even if you go to the normal restaurants where they serve vegetarian dishes, you can just order for vegetarian dishes. But as time goes on, you have to also become a little bit circumspect. You can go to only restaurants that prepare vegetarian dishes. And it gets to a point that you don't even have to even eat from outside. Because see, when people are cooking, their mentality goes to the food. Whatever they are thinking of goes to the food. So you eat food prepared by people with bad mentality, you get affected. That's why devotees are advised not to be eaten anyhow. We only eat food that has been offered to Krishna, or what has been offered to God, prasadam. It is not very easy from the beginning, but trust me, you will get used to it and you'll be pleased, you'll be happy. If you know how it is, how beautiful it is to abstain from all this rubbish we have been eating called food, you'll be so happy. Most of you dream and be having nightmares and all that. You think, where are these things coming from? Those animals and the flesh you have been eating, you think the kind of pain they go through, you don't have to suffer for it. You eat vegetarian food and all these terrible nightmares and all this will gradually minimize to a point that you might not even experience them. So my dear, it's not going to be easy from the beginning, but it's gradual. First, you go to any restaurant, you can ask for vegetarian meals. It gets to a point you have to look for a vegetarian restaurant where they don't prepare meat at all. And it gets to a point you don't even go out there and be buying food. You prepare your own food. You're going out, you can have your own lunch box with you in your car. In the afternoon, you can get your food and eat. When our kids are going to school, don't we give them lunch boxes? So the devotee is going out. In the morning, he takes something. He has some lunch box with him in his car. In the afternoon, during the lunchtime, you pack somewhere, and enjoy your food. You get home in the evening and then you go and then eat your food. So it is not easy from the beginning, but it's possible, it's doable. And if you want to do it, why not? You should be able to do it. All right, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we go to Mr. Peter, please.
Prabhu, I have only 4 minutes. I have another meeting somewhere.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Peter may be the last person to speak.
All right, thank you. God bless you. I'm very, very happy to join today. Today is the first time I'm joining the meeting. And I'm very, very happy. God bless you, Nana Ayabia for JNANA. My name is Peter Ayabua from Dubai. Please, I wanted to ask if there is an Hare Krishna church here. Yeah, a branch here in Dubai that some of us can attend, because I really want to understand the meaning of nature and then learn the more spirituality. So if there's any branch, can I please let me know?
In Dubai, apart from their mosque, they don't allow any other religious group to have any official center. But ISKCON, we have so many devotees in Dubai, but we have our programs in the homes of devotees. Okay, so you are in the Dubai group, right? Are you in the Dubai? Are you in the Dubai group?
Yes, please, I am.
Okay, so what we'll do is I tell Frank, your chairman,
Yeah,
that I
Frank.
said I'll give you some direction so that you can visit those places. We have every Sunday, every Saturday, there's program going on, devotees house. At times 400 members, 300 members, but we don't have official temple.
What?
We have one temple. Okay. It's in Bel Dubai, but that is
Dubai.
It's a general Hindu temple. But Hare Krishna temples are completely different from the general Hindu temple. So you talk to Frank, your chairman.
Okay.
I will give you some directions. One of the devotees that can link with you so that you can be visiting their programs on Saturdays and Sundays or Fridays when you guys are not going to work.
Okay. Frank is in Ghana now.
Don't worry. You can send me a WhatsApp message and I will do that. That's no problem.
All right. Thank you. Jai Chakshu Prabhu and dear devotees, brothers and sisters, we thank you all for being here today. And we thank you for your participation and your inquiries. We hope you are satisfied and feel blessed and nourished. And we hope to have your association sometime soon in the future.
Hare Krishna, Sahadev. Hare Krishna, Sahadev.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I want to thank Ghana. I'm just in Winneba University, and I met some of its members. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just meet some students at the University of Winneba, and they are members of Ghana CAKSUS group, and they are purchasing many books. So I thank you for the nice preaching. Thank you, Prabhu. I'm just coming from Winneba.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
So at this point, what we usually do, which is like a ritual we do, is we ask everyone on the platform to kindly unmute, and then we all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra one time to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace JNANA Chakshu Prabhu. So you may all unmute and we all chant Hare Krishna together. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Chakal Pataribis, Chakripa Sindhu, all Paris.